The Pool Nation podcast, where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John JJ Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Pool Nation Live podcast with myself, your host, Edgar De Jesus. And yes, I am the reigning champion of Marco Polo, along with John JJ Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and the famous Zach, the Pool Boy Nicholas. Today, we're answering your business questions that you have sent in, and we'll get to those today. I want to welcome everyone to our live podcast, the podcast where it's all pool talk, and we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. But before we get started today, I want to thank our sponsors for this podcast, the Ultimate Pool Tools, the SPPA, poolinvoice.com, Blu-ray Excel, Aquastar Pool Products, and Pivot Pool Products. We want to thank them for their continued support. Zach, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well today. I gotta say, I love watching you dance to the intro song and point in all of the wrong directions because you just look like a crazy person standing there pointing at random things.
So I was trying to figure out, so we have Riverside and I don't know where you guys are because it just gives you the three boxes. So I don't know in the live where John is actually positioned. So I was kind of trying to, and halfway through, I noticed I look like an idiot just kind of doing this pointing thing all over the place.
You do. And but you know what's funny though is it's like infectious because you can see now, like, kind of everything. We have a lot of pictures with pointing, and people pose and do pictures too. They're doing it too, and it's kind of like your thing. So it's grown just a little bit.
Now it kind of makes sense why a lot of people don't want to talk to me and they want to talk to Zach and John. Makes total sense. So Zach, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm getting ready to go on a little trip, and so just making preparations and finalizing things. Huh?
Where are you going?
Hunting?
Hunting? What are you going to hunt?
Elk. I'm actually just tagging along because I couldn't get a tag, but so I'm going hiking, I guess.
Wait. What's a tag?
So really,
I totally do not know what a tag is. John, do you know what a tag is?
I think you're able to like tag the animal, right?
Yeah, so basically you have to buy a hunting license, and then for whatever you're hunting, you have to buy a tag, but they control the amount of tags that they'll put out, and it kind of helps control the different populations and of animals and things like that. So, but you have to have a license and a tag, and they sold out before I could get one, which is fine. So,
But what is the tag? If you kill an animal, you have to tag it and turn that in?
yeah, you have to tag it. And I suggest that you go on, I think, Animal Planet and watch some Lone Star Law about the game wardens, and you'll get a great education on how all of that works here in Texas.
I am getting a huge shout out over here to Jeanette, Michael, first response, Corey, big shout out. Jay out here is going, what's up? Good luck on the elk, but watch out for the bears.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are bears.
Yeah, John, I think I would pass. Thanks for the whole hunting invite. Just
Not my
I'll
thing.
pass.
No, yeah, not really my thing, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, I've never really gone out. When I was a kid, and this was long out in Greece, and I remember, and I think I was like 9 years old or 7 years old, and I think they birds, and there's like a little picture of me with like belt with all these birds on it or some shit like that. I don't know. I can't remember, and I was out shooting, but I don't really remember it too well. And that's but yeah, it's not really here out in California. There's not much of that going on.
Well, here's the other challenge that you would have with that, John. Zach, picture this. So you're going hunting for like 9 days, first of all, into the depths of the wood, no cell reception, no nada, no nothing. Can you picture John in the woods for like 4 days with no cell service, no 5-hour energies, no bangs, no nada, no nothing?
I would go. I would lose my shit there.
He would start shooting at us, thinking that we're just like
we've never gone camping as a family either. So I've never gone camping, and I have no desire to go camping because I like my own comfortable bed, and I can't imagine or doing that. That's just not our thing, you know. I'd rather,
I took Dylan when he was little, and we went camping a couple times, right? You're roughing it, and again, when I say roughing it, I'm like, Total Park in California where they have the tent area, so that's as far as you get, right? And then do that a couple times, and I'm like, yeah, this is not my cup of tea. So of course, all my other kids have never let me live it down, John, where it's like, well, you never take us camping. How come we don't do any of these things? How come? And like, trust me,
yeah,
I can just picture my kids whining and
who wants to shit in the woods?
Zach does.
I mean, come on, let's just be honest here. Who in the hell wants to shit in the woods? I mean, I get it as a day trip, right? I can make it through the day, right? But every morning, dude, it's like I'm on a schedule, right? And I'm a weirdo. I use any restroom other than my home. I mean, I don't stop at gas stations.
Oh my God, you're like Jaden.
I'm not at restaurant. I don't do any of that, right? I'm at home on my throne. I go, and my body, like clockwork, I wake up at 5:30 in the morning every time I go do my morning thing, and then I'm off to hit one off the checklist in the morning, and I can't imagine doing it in the woods. I would. I don't know. I think I'd lose my shit. Literally.
John, there is nothing about you. And if anybody out there is listening and wants to know what John is like, there is nothing, and I repeat, nothing about John that says wilderness. It's like that's not his forte.
Sorry.
Keep him comfy, right. Keep him fed,
exactly,
and keep him rested. Other than that, you're looking for problems that you just do not want to have.
Exactly. Talk about a bear, right? You know, I mean, be careful over the bear. Yeah, you'll turn me quite the asshole if I'm outside my little realm here. But yeah, seriously, who wants to shit in the woods? That's all.
So here's the thing, John.
Have fun with that, Zach.
Zach, good luck with that. But here's the thing is Zach came out and we were doing the whole thing, and I didn't feed him for a day. And of course he's like teasing me and stuff like that. But I know that if you were here, I would not get away with that. Like there would be no way that we could not feed John.
Oh no, everything would stop. I would protest. I just can't function. There's certain things in life. I'm a simple man. Look, and Janie's finally, she's figured that out after many years that, hey, look.
After 20 years?
You're right. Yeah, exactly. Over 20 years now. It's like, hey, this guy's really simple, dude. I just got to keep, right? You know what I mean? Keep him fed, keep him happy, you know, and
get him some rest.
Give him some rest, dude. That's it.
You know, and he doesn't require a lot of rest. He just requires
every time he starts to get grumpy and yell, just feed him. You know, give him some food.
That's the same advice Edgar gave me about the baby.
Oh yeah,
it's true.
Oh yeah, I gave him some advice and said, look, babies are really simple, right? They either need to be fed, they need to be changed, or they need to get some sleep. So it's very simple. And then other than that, you know, keep those fingernails short. That's all. That's all you got to do, man. You're good. So, hey, Zach, I really kind of don't understand how you're going to be completely roughing it for 9 days. So that means like no showers for days at a time. what do you guys do? Do you guys like get in one of these boxes and you just kind of sit there and wait for stuff to come by, or do
Hell
you
no.
like walk through the woods looking for stuff? How does that thing play out?
So I'll kind of paint a picture. It's actually got to drive through national forest for like an hour and a half. And this is, Rocky Mountains up there, high mountains, 6,000 feet elevation. And then there's, where we have our property, my dad has built by hand an A-frame cabin. So there are no special amenities. It's basically just a place to sleep and stay dry. But there's an outhouse they built. And if you want to take a shower, there's a bag they bring. You fill with water, you hang it from a tree, and you just shower under that if you want to. It's
Sounds like a
actually
peachy.
it's
Sounds like a
actually
great
really
experience.
freaking intense. And I've been working out and I've been training and I've been trying to walk and use the stair climber and get ready for this because my dad is going to freaking run circles around me in the woods. And I'm really actually kind of nervous about it.
So here's the thing, John. The confession came out. Well, I put two and two together. So Zach starts working out like heavy duty. I mean, he's going twice a day to the gym, and like first thing in the morning, and if it's either in the middle of the day or late at night. But he's like, I can't talk right now, Edgar. I got to go hit the gym. I got to do my thing. And I'm like, wow, why is he in such a workout mode? And he's like, I just want to look good. I want to feel good. And I got these new shirts, Edgar, and they're just perfect. And he comes out and I could see, John, that he's like bulked up. Like he's kind of from the last time that I saw him. And I'm like, wow, he hit a stride. He's just kind of into the fitness thing. All of a sudden he confesses that I guess his dad, how old is your dad? In his 60s now?
Yeah.
I guess his dad is like in his 60s,
Built like a
total
tank.
mountain man, total build, total like this is what his dad just loves to do. And I just kind of figured out, you ain't working out just to be fitness. You're working out because you're afraid that your dad is going to outshine you out there in the woods and you're not going to be able to keep up with him.
Oh, he most definitely will.
That's
He
cool,
most
dude.
definitely
I mean,
will.
awesome that you're going out there with your pops and you're doing that, dude. That's
Thank you.
that's badass.
Yeah,
and it seems like that's been like your dad's thing, right? And I could imagine, being a father, that having the opportunity to do that when he's a grown man, family, doing the things that I love to do and doing it with me out there, dude. It means the world to him. Going out there and doing that, and I wish you shits, and I wish you many elk.
Even though you can't tag any of them.
Yeah, no bears.
Yes, no bears, please.
Good for you. All right. Well, look, I think that qualified for my good morning. Also, what do you think, Edgar?
Yeah, we'll let you for your good morning.
Yeah,
Just save
I think that's for
your
good
final
morning.
thoughts.
I will save my final thoughts.
Okay,
So
save your final thoughts.
if any of you, let's get started. If any of you have
All
any
right.
questions that you want answered on the podcast or Instagram Live, go to poolnation.com or the Pool Nation podcast, and there's a little button on the top that says submit questions, and you can click that to submit your questions. And these are the questions that we're answering right now. So don't be shy. Go up there. It doesn't really matter. Now that we've included hunting, you can ask some hunting questions for Zach. Those on the podcast when he gets back from the wilderness.
Yeah. So, hey, Zach, you're not going to be here next Friday, right? On the podcast, you're going to be out in the.
I will be gone. Yes.
Oh, we're gonna have fun.
We're going to have fun with you. I got something in store for you, my friend.
Perfect.
Hey, we want to talk about the Pool Nation Awards. Voting is open right now. There, go to poolnationawards.com, register, vote. If you have already registered, all you got to do is log back in. If you forgot your password from last year, just click forgot password. It'll send you a reset. You can log back in. For those of you that have not registered, you need to register in order to be able to vote. And I will tell you this, gentlemen. So I get a notification every time somebody registers to vote. And since we opened up, my phone has just been completely blowing up. So I'm telling you, people are getting out there to vote. So everybody out there, get out there, vote. get your vote for your nominees, right? Products, people. It's super exciting. So we're going to hold the Pool Nation Awards on November 16th at the International Pool and Spa Patio Expo at the Las Vegas Convention Center. And I can tell you this, everybody, it is definitely going to be a big one this year. I am super excited.
Yeah, and on that note, make sure that you get tickets, because tickets are going to be required to attend the awards. And to register, go to poolnation.com, and there's a big red button at the top that says register for the pool show, or you can go to poolspapatio.com and register. And make sure when you're registering for the expo that you use the promo code PoolNation in all caps, and it'll walk you through registration. And you're going to want to use this code because you'll get a free a $60 day pass for the expo. So make sure that you use that Pool Nation all caps to take advantage of that.
Yeah, make sure that you go out there and you register. Guys, my allergies today are just on point. So make sure that you go, make sure that you register. Two things. One is that you do have to have a ticket in order to get to the Pool Nation Awards. And number two, which John was already kind of scolding me on already, and that is that everybody this year has to be a suit and tie, cocktail dresses. It is the big, is it gala or gala event?
It can go either way.
It can go either way.
Yeah.
So make sure that you guys have your suits out there. You have those ready. John was already sending me a couple of suits that he wants to buy for this year's Pool Nation Awards, and so I already gave him a
impress.
Yeah, he was just like, I'm going all out this year.
Are we coordinating?
Suits.
Are we?
Yeah.
Are we?
I think we're gonna do.
Are we all dressing up the same?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
mobsters?
Okay.
Let's get it.
Okay. Let's do it. So, any preference, you two, on suits?
I like pinstripes. It
pinstripes?
complements my figure.
Gotcha. So, do they need to go horizontal or vertical?
No, horizontal. They got to go vertical, not horizontal. Jesus Christ, dude! Imagine that.
Anyways, the other thing that we want to talk about, guys, ladies and gentlemen out there, is that we are going to be doing another in-person business financial class, and it's going to be held in over towards Dallas, over in Frisco, and that's going to be Saturday, September 24th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you want to register for that, go to poolnation.com. There's a button there that says financial business class. Click there. You can register, and then this one is going to be a little bit different because we've partnered up with Kelly with the Pool Girls training, and it's going to be a Pool Girl business training. Sorry, guys, my allergies are just killing me today. The other thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a networking event for the pool girls in the industry, and that's going to be held on the 23rd of September in Frisco, and that is in Studio A, where we shoot all of our content. And we're going to have some speakers, a Q&A session for the networking. We also have a professional photographer on site that's going to be taking headshots for everybody in attendance. So John and Zach, get your beards in shape so you can get your headshots. We are going to have Danielle from the SPPA and Jamie Novak from Aquastar coming out to talk about being a woman in the industry and doing a workshop. The workshop is Sheer Determination, a personal branding and leadership class for women. So for those of you that want to register, go to poolnation.com, and there is a button there that says Event Women's Networking. And click there. All you have to do is click on the button register. You register, and we'll send you some information so that you can have all the details for the event.
Yeah, it's going to be, we're excited about it because Mama and I are going to be flying out to attend, critique and watch Edgar give the class. Right? Or no? Yeah.
Wow. Shots fired, Zach.
We're going to sit in the back with our little notepad.
And they're bringing forms too for everyone to fill out.
Oh yeah, for sure. We're going to, exactly, so that we can get surveys on what we did.
You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do, Zach? I'm going to start with John, and I'm going to disappear and give him the mic
exactly.
and just leave.
Dude, trust me, I know I'm going to.
Dude,
I know it. So no, we're going to be out. We're so excited about it. We're going to be out in Texas a lot next coming. We made sure that that we're out there for the networking event and to be a part of the business class. And then, like I said, Mama really wants to be there too. And we kind of look forward to it. So just make sure if you go there, poolnation.com, and for the financial or the business training class.
Yeah, and we already have women coming out from El Paso. We have Houston. We have from Atlanta. We have women from California. So I'm super excited because it's going to be another great class where we spend some one-on-one time for the financial business class. And then the other thing that I'm really excited about is the networking event that we're going to do the night before, because same thing. We have, Danielle's coming out from California. We have women coming from Atlanta, over Charlotte. We have Houston. So it's super exciting to kind of be able to get together and network and do all that fun stuff that we love to do. So I'm super excited about it. So, all right, guys, let's get this party started. So we are trying now to catch up with some of the questions that were sent in, because we had a couple podcasts where, we had obviously the Pool Nation Awards and all that kind of stuff. And so I want to make sure that we don't get too far behind with the questions that are sent in. So here's the first one. And Zach, I'm going to cue you because I'm going to go first to you on this one. And it says, I took the plunge and just hired my first employee. I wanted to pick your brains and maybe ask what should be my first focus of training. My goal is to have him focus on the service side.
So I think the first order of business with this question is service is cleaning, right?
Yeah, they
would-
want them to focus
yeah.
on service.
It's backwards over here. So we'll have to get together as an industry and determine what the final decision on is. It service or is it maintenance? We'll figure that out. But anyways,
What is it for you, John? What do you call cleaning?
Well, that's a good point. You bring it up, maintenance. See, I always think anything that has to do with tools is repairs, right? So, I guess you can classify it as service, or I don't point. When I say service, I think of servicing a pool out here,
like cleaning.
That's how cleaning it,
servicing the pool. Yeah,
but I could understand where Zach is coming from. It's considered services but maintenance. I don't know. I mean, I think when you think of maintaining something, you're maintaining equipment. You could also have that argument too, right? So,
come on, John.
Equipment is working on, nuts and bolts, right? Which could be repairs. So, I don't know. The jury's out on that one. For the most part, the people that I talk to, when you say service, they assume or we're talking about cleaning or servicing a pool.
Yeah,
you have
to
to
me,
put a post about it and get the votes.
Yeah.
We should actually. That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, for me, working in hotels, we always had a maintenance department, which is all the engineers that fix stuff. So to me, it's always been maintenance is those guys that fix stuff. But out here, I get that all the time. I start talking about service, and they're like, no, my guys aren't servicing pools. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, they're maintenance guys. They maintain the pools. So I get
it's
it.
true. Okay, yeah, I would be confused too. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, they are.
We got distracted. We wrote all over you. So Zach,
it's good. We have to figure that out. But so anyways, back to the question, and to kind of sum it up, to me, there are several different layers when it comes to training, and you want to train your new employee on the actual service or cleaning of the swimming pool, the company policies, procedures, rules, guidelines, whatever you want to call them, the company culture. And to me, that's kind of how you envision the attitudes and the mindsets of your team. And then the company vision. We talk about this all the time. What does your future look like for the company? What does it look like for your team? What does it look like for you as a business owner? And I think that you can accomplish training on these things simultaneously. And it's just going to require some discipline on your end. And one thing that I preach a lot in our team meetings to our team is to do things with purpose and intention. And I think this is extremely important. And so when you take your new employee out for the first week, everything you do and everything you say should be completely intentional and have a purpose or a reason behind it. And you have to be that ultimate example. I think that's priority number one. And everything you say is going to be planting seeds for their future, right? And everything you do will be the example of how their future, how their actions are going to be once they're out on their own. So to kind of bring that all together and give an example of what I'm trying to get at. So week one, you're riding around, you're showing them how to remove all of the debris, how to use the different cleaning equipment, and they're probably just helping you out at this point. And while you're riding around all day, use that time to plant seeds about, say the pool industry and how expansive it is, kind of giving that big vision. Maybe talk about some of your expectations or policies and why they matter, why they're important to follow, and then talk about the importance of being a professional and how they're an extension of your business and so on. I mean, these are the things that you need to be kind of trickling into their mind. And one thing I did from the beginning, and I learned the hard way, and I've seen some of the people that we've designated as trainer when they get out on their own and they're kind of starting in that trainer role, that they do is they tell war stories. And don't tell war stories because they're trying to relate with that person, because it's super uncomfortable to be stuck in a car with a stranger that you don't know all day. And we default to trading war stories and um, so that we can be accepted and relatable. And I think we should really try to avoid that as business owners. And the last thing I'll say is, when planting those seeds, keep in mind we're planting seeds one by one. We're not like dumping this all on them in one round, because you will overwhelm them and it'll just be wasted breath at that point. But that's kind of my thoughts on it. It's kind of a multi-layered process. I don't think it's so black and white. But what are your thoughts, John?
I'm sitting here kind of going you're saying and trying to figure out an answer that not going to take 2 hours. There is just so much right involved in training, and it's hard to grasp. We've been doing this for a very long time. We sometimes forget how much knowledge we have or how much experience we have and the things that we do, how many years it's taken us to kind of get to that point where we kind of don't really put it into perspective and understand of how overwhelming it really is for an employee or somebody who's just getting into the pool industry, especially who's never been into it. And it's funny that we have this question because we have a new employee that we're bringing on who's been riding along with me now. Today is going to be the finish of the second week. And
I do have to say, John,
yeah,
John, I do have to say, I was a little bit impressed because you were riding with him in the car the other day, and I didn't know that you were riding with him in the car. And
well, they know to just shut up and be quiet, right?
No, well, we were talking about the live.
Yeah.
And so he had sat there and watched the live.
Oh yeah. He's
and I was impressed. Yeah, I'm like, holy cow, he was, because you and I were talking about the live and who we're gonna have on next and all that, and all of a sudden he was. I was pretty impressed. I'm like, that's a good start. Dude. That's a good sign.
It is a culture here, right? We live, breathe, eat, sleep pools, right? My whole family, they understand it, right? And it's nonstop. And even though we're out busting our ass every single day, working 6 days, 7 days a week, when we come home, it doesn't end, right? We got all the things that we do when we get home, as far as like Pool Nation and the podcast, right? And then helping other brothers and sisters out in the industry and being on the phone and doing those types of, it is just a part. Anybody who's in this family, who's lived here at this house, pools are a part of their life. And, we just, in everything we do, we speak it, and he gets it, right? And I think he's going to be an amazing addition to the team. But the approach for us, and I think, Zach, you do more of and that's a good where we have, hey, look, the reality is most, sure who asked this question, but if it's a first employee, they don't really have a big team or a culture, mission statements, handbooks, right? Some of the you would expect from a larger establishment or a bigger company. And hang on real quick. Sorry about that. Mama interrupts me in the middle of my answer right there, and I'm going to scold.
It's all good.
This. Yeah. So
hey, anyways. Let's do this, John. Let's do this, because I think we need to break this down a little bit, and I know where you're going with this, and it's exactly where we need to go. And what I don't want to do is have you start and then have to take a break. So let's do this. Let's take a break really quick.
Yeah.
And when we come back, I want you to dive into where you're going, because I know exactly where you're going with this. All right. So let's take a word from our sponsors and we'll have you jump back in.
All right.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add recurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open fleet spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results, designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind. The patented double-locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today. Pivot how you clean pools. Debris that makes it to the bottom always enters from the surface. Clean from the top with Ariel, a smart solar-powered pool skimming robot. She works around the clock skimming pesky and fine debris off the pool surface. Tell your customers about Ariel and earn big commission on every sale. With advanced solutions like Ariel, you'll spend less time at the pools you service, improve customer relations, and increase your bottom line. Plus, pool owners will enjoy a constantly swim-ready and healthy pool and lower energy bills. Visit pivotpoolproducts.com/dealers to see how much you can earn and for resources on how to get your customers to ditch the net for good.
Welcome back, everybody. To John, we're talking to Zach, and we're answering some of the questions. We've talked about the Pool Nation Awards. We've talked about the women's networking event that's going to be happening September 23rd. And so I wanted to backtrack a little bit because, John started talking about, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, you really kind of started talking about the company vision. And
For sure.
I have a feeling you were going to do a deep dive into the company vision.
Well,
and
there's just so much to really, I'm trying to, it's such a and there's no cut or dry answer or easy, 1 or 2 sentences that
yeah, here's the 3 steps.
Yeah. It's really on basis, but there's a general focus that I think we should take based off of the position we're currently in. And I was kind of getting back to the answer, and I think you hit it, right on the head. But that's a different perspective, and that might be the journey that that person is on right now. Because you, as you know, with your company and multiple technicians and trucks and that you have out there, would hope that at that point you have a some form of SOP or standard operating platform where you have maybe an employee book or you have guidelines and you have but the person asking this question, I'm looking at it like, hey, this is my first hire, and thinking back, hey, when I was a boss and I brought on my first employee, they haven't had that already built up, or they don't have those types of procedures or policies in place. Not that they're not important, right? But it's almost like, hey, here's a different perspective, right? And where you were when you first brought on that first person, and here's a different take on it, is kind of what I'm trying to give. And this is in no way the complete answer, right? This is just a small elaborate later, and I'm sure we're going to keep talking about it on different podcasts and stuff, but it's like live and learn type situation. When you first, and this is kind of how I'm getting, when you first bring on that new hire, it is the most scariest decision as a business owner, right? And it is the one thing that prevents business owners, right? Can prevent, right? From expanding. Only so much you can do as an individual, and you need that jump. Starting your business was already scary enough, in portfolio or clientele or in whatever industry you're in. And you're at that point where you start getting maxed out, right? Before, where, hey, look, you don't want to start sacrificing quality or service, right? And destroying what you've built. And sometimes you need to take a step back and slow down so that you don't overwhelm yourself. And now you're at that crossroads where you need to bring on an employee. And when you take that plunge and bring on that first employee, it is tough, right? It's tough for everybody. And usually when you're at that point, you don't have those policies and procedures in place. Or like an employee handbook and like an orientation or an HR, things that kind of, look, we've done this before and this is what we need to do and this is what works and here's the da 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 da. Well, with us, you bring on your first employee. I guess my thing is this, and this is what I've learned. In the industry for a little bit, and you've been servicing your pools and kind of taking care of your clients, you've established some form of routine. We all know that there are the basics of what you need to do to take care of a pool. But if, let's say, you've been servicing a pool for 5 years or 10 years, right? Chances are, I guess, how can I stay away from the shortcuts, right? The hardest part about learning is unlearning. And when you bring an employee on, especially if they're training with you and you're taking them to, you're doing what you're doing, you need to make sure it's hard. It's hard to, if that makes sense, because you've established a system where you know a pool, the scenario, what needs to get done. It's there's nobody out there that back out there and I sit there and I go through this checklist exactly, or I do this every single time like I did when I first started, because there's so much information that you automatically do, and it's muscle memory. So I've learned that the best way of training is focus on one thing at a time. And with our new hire, Fabian, what we're doing is mechanics of the pool. So the easy work, the grunt work, the muscle memory, the physical portion of servicing a pool. And then as far as anything that we haven't even crossed that road yet or going there, and teaching him just the mechanics and how to take care of it, so that it becomes almost like muscle memory, because those are the easy things to do. After that, start training and talking about chemistry and however you take care of your pool, you want it done, but make sure you don't forget the basics. It's a thing with as far as like training and employing. It's what's important is that a good understanding of work ethic, I think, is what is important in the first few weeks of servicing pools or working for you. And if somebody doesn't have the physical ability, they don't want to do it, or the drive to do the grunt work of the work, then that's going to be a telltale sign of whether or not they're going to work out for you. And if you try to overwhelm them with everything all at once, as far as like chemistry wise and repair wise and stuff that needs to get done, I think you're setting yourself up for disaster. So long focus on the basics, and see how well they do with that, and then build from there. And Zach, what you were talking, which I think is very important, is training doesn't start at the edge of the water, right? Or at the pool, right? You're with them, you need to make sure that you're utilizing all that time, and that you're building a relationship, and that it's not just when you're at the pool, is when you're right, when you're in that truck, you got to take the time to talk to them and plant seeds and talk about what's important to them, get to understand you as a company, how to go about. And last point is, don't take everything for granted. Always sit and explain why you did what you did, right? You are in a situation where you're on a phone with a customer, or a customer calls in and you're talking, or you go see a potential account, or you're at a pool and you need to go do something. Just sit back and then explain why you did what you did, and the reason why you did it, so that they kind of get a grasp and understanding, because chances are they're going to be intimidated and not want to ask a lot of questions. And a lot of these things are certain things that you can't really teach unless you've experienced it. And if you're experiencing it at that moment, you want to make sure you turn it into a teaching point, if that makes sense. And I know I rambled on, and I tried. There's so much more I want to really say about it, but it's just really hard. But it's almost like a feel thing, especially your first employee, how well they're going to do what you need to do with them. So hopefully that kind of answers some of the questions.
Yeah, and what I'd like to do, guys, is I think we should break down. I kind of can't speak all of a sudden. I want to break down a couple of things that you should probably start looking at when you're hiring an employee, and then maybe kind of hit them on a couple of steps, especially for those first people. Because I think when you start training, one of the first things, and you're hiring and you're training that first person, what you tend to do is just load them into the truck and water chemistry, here we come, right? Because that's kind of that comfort zone. And I think there's so many more lost opportunities before, like what you were saying, John, before you even get to the water. There's a lot of things that need to happen. And so I want to backtrack a little bit. And Zach, I want you to jump in and you talk to your guys, and you guys have your guys come in once you've hired them and stuff like that. So when you bring somebody on, really the training starts at that point, from the very first minute. So what are some of those things that you focus on before you get to the pool?
So, and we always have room to improve, right? As we go through this, like John said, when you start out, it's a lot by feel. You're learning. As time goes on, you start to realize some of the things that you can implement to help. And we're always kind of assessing this so that we can tweak it and improve it. I think one of the most important things that we talk about, even in the interview process, is some of the company policies or procedures or structure that we have, because a lot of people come from an environment where maybe there was no structure, and so their expectations of what they're getting into by coming to work with us are much different than what is actually going to be the environment that they're in. And we want to make sure that we're setting the expectations right there, because that gives them an out, right? If they're like, "Ooh, I won't fit in here, or this isn't for me," they have an out. So we really start that from the interview process. And then, from there, when they're filling out their new hire paperwork, we're going through a lot of these things. A lot of our policies are discussed in that, where we're signing off on this and going through paperwork. But again, this is stuff that you will develop over time. You just kind of keep adding to it. And you don't even know you need a lot of this stuff until you run into a scenario. But we really try to address things like attendance. I think that's a very simple thing that most people can start from the very beginning. That's something that everyone can add. We talk about uniforms. We talk about shoes. You know, wearing safe shoes so that we're not in flip flops and breaking an ankle. So just a lot of things like that. Who they're going to report to, and those kind of things. The structure of the company.
And I
Um,
think that's important. That's a big one, Zach. Like those little things you don't think about, but if you're hiring that first employee, right, and you don't have the, here's how we need to dress, right? And like for John, I know that obviously branding is very important and stuff like that. But you get somebody, and you're not teaching them, hey, this is the expectation of how you need to look. Here's the safety of the shoes and stuff like that. Those are all little golden nuggets that we kind of miss at the beginning when you're kind of hiring that first person.
Look, and something too, and I think we sometimes is, and again, I'm going with the perspective of this is your first employee, and this applies even for people that have hired multiple people like yourself, because you're constantly always learning. You need to understand that you're right when you're doing this. You're bringing. Well, you're also new at training as well, or especially you need to take notes and figure out what works and what doesn't work, and what didn't hit home, or how you're explaining things, how you're doing things. And it's as simple as maybe a piece of a notepad or whatever, and keep notes of what's worked and what's not, so that now you can take what you've learned. So next employee, right, you don't repeat those mistakes, or you have now established, or you start to create some so that every new hire, every employee, you will learn, you will fall, you will make a mistake, right? You will say, oh, I wish I would have covered that, or I wish I would have done that better, right? Or I should have, talked about attendance, something as simple as attendance, or something as simple as, hey, this look like when you come to work. Because when they're on their own, and it's your first employee, chances are they're not, you guys, you don't have a shop or a business, right? They're kind of getting in their truck and going off and doing it, and you're not really seeing what's going on. So those are the types of things that are that you down the road. But if you can nip them in the butt, it saves you a lot of heartache, right? So you're a student as well. Them, and as long as you go into it with an open mind like that, and both of you are learning, right, you will become a better boss, right? And you'll be more prepared employee that you bring on, so that you have that structure moving forward. Does that make sense?
That's perfect. And to kind of tag on to that, so I don't go in the field and train anymore, and we have designated trainers, and our main trainer, it's really interesting because I've made all of the mistakes and I have many more to make, but you're talking to this person about, okay, when you're training someone, here's some things you want to watch out for, here's some things you want to do. And you ultimately just kind of got to let them go. And you can coach and you can guide and you can instruct, but they've got to learn for themselves what works and doesn't work. And it's really interesting because I've watched this person train a lot of people, and I've watched it go from, um, excuse me, my dog's walking around right here. I've watched it go from, um, coming back with the music in the afternoon, kind of, maybe the music's a little loud, and then, something as simple as that. And then once that person's out on their own, you notice every day when they come back, they've got their music on really loud. And it's just little things like that that as a trainer, they start to pick up and go, oh, okay, now I know what you're saying when you're saying like everything you do will be, it will dictate
sure.
how it's what's acceptable for them and how to act. And I've watched this person, it's really interesting. I've watched them be really nice and someone come through and be that relatable person, and that person didn't work out, and they're going, man, what happened? Okay, on the next
You're
person,
bringing
I'm
my
not going to
point.
be
Yeah.
very nice. Not going to be mean, but I'm just not going to be like overly nice. And then you watch that person come through, and maybe they don't build a relationship with the team like you think they would, and going, man, maybe I was too tough. Maybe that, and it's finding that balance between being professionally nice and professionally a friend and not too friendly. But like you said, it's just you are learning while you're out there, and you have to be making observations and like I said, doing things with purpose and intention and analyzing what's happening based on what you're doing. I don't know if that makes sense, but I
No,
love
it
it.
does, and it leads to the next point that I want to take. And sorry, Edgar, we're
No,
running away with
that's
this right
perfect.
now, and we're probably is going to be the only question we're going to answer this podcast because, like I said, it's deep.
we're gonna have to catch up and record like 6 podcasts at night just to catch up with everybody. But it's all good. I love this topic.
You led into my point, the next point that I wanted to make, right? And years ago, I think in one of our few podcasts, I talked about leadership, right, or being a great leader, and the difference. And if it was as easy as read and become a this is what you need to do to be successful. Because in my prior life, I did a lot of training where I trained new managers that constantly came into the company, and people would ask, or how's your store so successful, or how this and that, and I go, well, it's not as easy as like, here's a book and I can write. All of a sudden now you're going to be great at what you're doing.
Yeah, there's not the 5 steps.
There isn't.
5.
Really,
there's not.
And I've boiled it down to this little saying is that I like to say is like, there's 3 types of leaders in only one of them is truly successful long term. That loved leader, right? And that loved one staying out is a cool cat and stuff, and I like, coming out work or her. But eventually, when you're a loved leader, the problem is your people will start to take advantage of you, right? Feel their friendship only, and they're so cool or whatever. And when you have to lay the law down, one, it's going to be hard for you to do it because it's hard to do that with a friend. And when you have to lay the law down or accountable, your employees or the people that work for you will start to will say, oh, this guy's a prick, or you know what I mean, or I thought you were my friend, right? And they'll bench you for it. And they won't, and you won't get whatever you're trying to do accomplished. And then on the other side of the spectrum, you have that feared leader, right? And that an iron fist, right? And who's the, oh my God, John's coming to work, or John's at work today, or Zach's going to be here, da 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 da. Got to do this, you got to do that. And those types of leaders, you get results, but they're short term. Your employees are going to start to resent you, and they're going to hate you, and they're going to end up revolting against you, right? Because that's an environment that really like to be around. But the respected leader, right, is a little bit of both. And that's the ultimate goal, and that's the hard part, trying to find out to be that one person that's respected, where both sides and people understand and they respect you for what you're doing. And that is the ultimate goal, I think, for any leader or business owner, is to become that respected leader. There's no textbook that teaches you how to do that. My last point, and it goes with what you're talking about, Zach, is that when you train, and you nailed it when you first said it, is that you have to understand that not every individual is the same, and you can't train people one way, right? And expect, and then train everybody the same way and expect. We're all human beings, right? We have different needs, and we have different ticks or different things that motivate us to be able to find those as leaders and harness that and use it for that. Because some people are, strictly professional, don't like to talk about themselves. Some people have, it's just, when it comes to human, as a good trainer, you have to find out, learn, right? And with Leanne, and we were talking about that, right? Some people like the recognition, some people hate the recognition. There's certain things that people dig, and you can't expect to treat everybody the same and to get this. There's going to be some foundation things that need, as far as how well somebody grasps something or wake up and go to work, the way they feel about the and the person that's providing the paycheck plays a huge part in how happy they are at work, regardless of whether they love servicing pools or not. There's not like us that just love cleaning pools, right? That's not it. You know, they love who they work for, right? And they enjoy this doing this work for the people they work for, because they feel like they're wanted or they're needed. 2, obviously, you know, they're being compensated for it. And 3, and I think we're going to get into that to it, is that they see a future, right? Or there's an envision of where you're going or where the company's going, and they feel a part of it, right? And that they play a big role in that, or they have a future with you in the company. So I don't know. I don't mean to keep rambling, but
It's perfect. I love it. And I think that, like, talking about the different types of leader, is I started as a love leader, and that is not a good leader to be, and that's the one I think a lot of people default to. And it's, I think, a big key to becoming more of the respected leader. And I think leadership is something that you just chase forever, right? Um, it's consistency. I think that's a huge part of it. And just being
absolutely, it's
consistent.
consistency part of it. You can't do one thing one day and then not do it. How are you going to hold your people accountable, right? But you let Johnny Joe or Billy Sue or whatever, and you know, you can't pick and choose. There's things that you have to stick with and get the respect, because people respect it because you're treating me fair. You treat everybody else that way, right? And when you say you're going to do something, you do it and you follow through with it, right? Regardless of who the employee is, and there's no favoritisms that take place. So yeah, being consistent is huge. And then also, you know, it's acknowledging when you did something wrong, or you might decision too, and not blaming others for it or pretending like it's not reality. We're all humans and we all make mistakes, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that's a big part of growing into becoming a great leader, is acknowledging when you do fuck up, you know, and then doing something about it.
Hey guys, a couple people on here online. Mike from Mikey's Coupler. Don't forget safety, employee and customer. Do the SOP and have them initial or sign, you know, review a month later. That's big. Corey over here, inspire, invest, and share ownership. Kids nowadays want more than just a job. And that's something that's changing in, you know, the generation that is huge out there. So the other thing, Maria, big shout out to you. Mr. Matt Mann, good morning. Big shout out to you out there. Hey guys, let's do this. Let's take our final words from our sponsor. When we come back, Zach, John, I want to get your final thoughts.
The HyperPole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add reoccurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today. Pivot how you clean pools. Debris that makes it to the bottom always enters from the surface. Clean from the top with Ariel, a smart solar-powered pool skimming robot. She works around the clock skimming pesky and fine debris off the pool surface. Tell your customers about Ariel and earn big commission on every sale. With advanced solutions like Ariel, you'll spend less time at the pools you service, improve customer relations, and increase your bottom line. Plus, pool owners will enjoy a constantly swim-ready and healthy pool and lower energy bills. Visit pivotpoolproducts.com/dealers to see how much you can earn and for resources on how to get your customers to ditch the net for good.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation podcast. And so I'm cracking up over here as we're on break. Corey sends a message and says, so JJ leaves every break. So they've noticed, JJ, that every break your camera goes off and you take off.
Oh,
Can we take a poll? Does he A, man the throne, B, slam an energy drink, or C, brush his beard? And so I'm starting to get a lot of C's and B's on here, my friend.
All of the above.
All of the above. So I don't know if you have noticed, but as soon as I say, hey guys, let's do this, John's camera's out and he's gone. Like I don't finish going, hey, let's take a word from our sponsors. He's gone. But everybody now over here knows. So hey, everybody listening, go on to whatever platform you're on and put A, man the throne. So put A for that, B for slam the energy drink, and C for brush the beard. So let me see how that beard is looking from where it was.
I think you
earlier.
guys all know what. All right.
So, let's see. Megan is saying B over here. So it says slam that energy drink. So everybody thinks that you're a big energy drink buddy.
Well, I am. That's for sure. But I'm always drinking those.
But you had stopped drinking those. What happened?
I did. Right.
You stopped and you were doing really good, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah. I'm still at the mattress and I'm still sleeping on the floor.
Oh man. So Megan Magana over here saying B. Mike from Mikey's Coupler saying C. So big shout out to you guys out there. All right, gentlemen, who wants to go first? Let's get some final thoughts here. We've been a little bit out of sync. It was vacation, and then I think John was out, and then Zach was out, and so we're kind of a little bit. So, John, what do you think we should do?
I think we got to stick with Zach.
Zach,
I'm going to keep mine short and sweet.
Okay, so Zach, you're it. Final thoughts.
I agree. And last week you switched it up. I was just confused. I couldn't get over it. So stick with tradition. I think this is a really good topic. It's a really deep topic. And I think it's something that's just kind of an evolution, right? You just try to find what works for you. But I'm going to go back to what I was saying earlier about purpose and intention, because I said it and I'm stuck on it. And I think that we should all do that in everything that we do. And there's not often that I do something with the pool boys without having a reason or a purpose, a thought out purpose, or without doing it intentionally to accomplish something specific. And we talk about it as far as it goes into everything, right? So when I talk about it with the team and about cleaning, it's generally about time management, right? Move with purpose, move with intention. And there's a big difference on how that looks versus just going out and cleaning the pool or servicing the pool. And so why should we treat training of new team members any differently? And if there were 3 tips I kind of put together that I could leave today from mistakes that I've made to hopefully, get people started on the right track, I think the main one that I'm always talking about is that you are the ultimate example. And it is no different than for those of you that have children, then they will copy what you do. And what you do sets the tone for what's okay and what's not okay. And it's not a do as I say, not as I do thing when you get employees. So make sure that you are the ultimate example of what you want and have rules and have policies. And it doesn't have to be complex. That comes with time. It can be just a few simple things. Maybe, like I said, attendance, like just setting a schedule, be here at this time. And I think in our business, there's a lot of stuff these days about flexibility and scheduling and all of that. And I get it. But I think with what we do, there's a there's kind of a need. The pools have to be serviced no matter what. It has to be done. So it's a little bit harder to do flexibility and scheduling, but that's a whole nother conversation. And then my last thing that I think, you know, to watch out for, and you learn about this when you take classes about leading and things like that or read books, is don't hang on to bad apples for too long. Right? It's all about getting the right people in the right seat and getting the wrong people out of there. um, but I think that we often feel like we can fix people or fix their bad habits and that it's our job to correct these things, but I think we're here to run businesses and we're here to provide job opportunities and career opportunities for people. And so I think that if the signs are there, then you're going to have to face the tough decision that you will ultimately have to face no matter what. And I don't want anyone to mistake this for investing in your people. You absolutely need to invest in your people, but those are two different things. So hopefully that makes sense and hopefully that helps a little bit.
That was deep, John. Hard act to follow there.
It was, and I'm kind of glad. Maybe I'm kind of not glad because he literally, like verbatim, said some of the things I was going to say, and it kind of pissed me off there, Zach, that you stole my thunder. But I know if I did that first, I would have. At me, right?
Yeah, one of us
so
was
methodical, and you have everything. When we do a break, Zach spends his break right. Make sure it's perfect. This is what I'm going to talk about. And then if I come and throw and I say exactly what he say, it like all goes to shit, right? And he's like, oh, thanks, John.
It's true.
So, I'm gonna elaborate, or I'm gonna tag, or I'm gonna add on to what I'm saying, and I'm gonna talk about just a few things, 3 things, primarily, and to recapping what I said. Remember, as far as training and learning, the hardest part, and I want you guys to remember this, the hardest part about learning is unlearning, right? You do not want to teach bad habits. So do it properly. Do not start these bad habits. You want to teach people the proper. The hardest part about learning is unlearning. The second thing is learn and strive to become that respected leader, right? And it is a lifelong journey. It is very hard to master, and I think only a few. And those people, I believe, still have things to learn. So always strive. And then the third thing, kind of going what you said, is like, don't. Daddy, what'd you say is, but I saw you do it, right? I don't know what word you used exactly, Zach, but the truth is when you're doing something, don't cut corners, right? Remember the basics when you're teaching them, because you cannot hold somebody accountable, right? If you're doing it. Okay, you need to be that shining example, like Zach was talking about. You need game when you bring an employee on. It's when you are your best self, and you need to be that shining example of what to expect. Hold people accountable, right? If you're not doing it yourself, right? It just doesn't work that way. And maybe you can because you're the boss and you think you can fire them, but I'm telling you, I respect you if you have the mentality as I do, right? That's not how the workplace. And you need to be exactly what you want your people to be. Before you make that decision, apples, right? Or axe. There's a saying that we say, and in leadership is grip the mirror, man. Right? If somebody's failing and somebody's not doing well, or you don't want them, or you think that they're a bad fit and you want to fire them, before you make any decisions like that, you need to seriously look. What have I done to? Have I helped create? Right? And is it a lack of skills or a failure of on my end that has led them to this position? Or is it some of the things that I believe that we can't change, no matter how great of a leader or manager we are? And that's ethic or values that people hold. You can't change, the cause of a being, right? And whether they're a good person or a bad person, that is just kind of how they are. And if you're trying to change those or somebody they're not, it's never going to work and it's going to blow up in your face. But if it's a matter of knowledge, right, or skills, right, those types of things, that is what we have control over, that we can help. Aside from, I also believe that people have a potential, or people just can't reach that potential, and they can be the best that they possibly be. But if you're expecting more than what they're capable mentally and physically to do, then you've put them in the wrong position as an employer, and you need to find a better position for them, right? And that's what organizations where we find where people are good at things just because they just do it. It's not a matter of want to do it or try, they just can't do it. Well, you have to apply them in a different matter or a different position. So grip the mirror and say, hey, look, possibly can to help this person before you make that decision, because you'll be surprised to find out that that you're a big part of why you're. It's a hard truth that a lot of us don't like to or take ownership of, and you can keep putting your head in the sand and pretending like it's not it, but I'm telling you, you're just going to keep fucking until you can fix yourself, until you become that better person or trainer, or you become that respected leader. You're going to continue to fall and have these issues with employees. The truth is, people inherently, and when they work, they want to feel good about working, and they want to get their paycheck, and they want to take care of their to do right. And if you create a great environment for them and they see a future, 8 out of 10 people are going to want to work for you, right? That's just their thing, regardless of whether it's cleaning pools or shoveling shit. It doesn't really matter. You need to take ownership for your actions, and then it's okay if you screwed up, because some things you just can't go back and fix. Write that notebook down and learn from it so that you become a better person or a better leader for that next employee. You don't lose another shot at bringing on a good person on. There you go. I'm done.
Follow that, Edgar.
I'm just sitting here going, yeah, I'm just going to go, hey, everyone, hope you have a great weekend. We'll catch you next one. I'm not following either one of you, my friends. And it's funny because I said, oh, I'm going to talk about this, and you guys talked about it. And I'm like, I would just sound like myself repeating what it is that you guys are saying. So I'm not going to go there. I do want to give a shout out here. Corey, well said, JJ. Grab the mirror is so true on both ends. Great episode, gentlemen. And then Lindsay John is saying, B, that you're hitting down that energy drink out there. So everybody's kind of following up on that poll. So anyways, ladies, gentlemen, I hope you guys all listening have a great weekend. Catch us next Wednesday on our Instagram Live. We will continue our conversations with the pool guys, pool girls that were nominated. We will also have some episodes with the sales reps. Corey, I know you're on here, so kind of prep yourself. you might want to reach out to JJ and figure out his, flawless skincare product line so that you can get ready for the video episodes there. So anyways, Zach, John, thanks for your time. Zach, if we don't catch you, have a great time hunting out there. Be very careful. Don't shoot anybody. Double check twice before you shoot. I don't want to hear anything from the news, John, that mountain man up in the the woods accidentally shot somebody.
We're using bows, so
you're using bows? Even worse.
That's pretty cool, actually.
So anyway, Zach, John, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Everybody, we will catch you next week on the Instagram Live. Have a great one.
See you guys.
Bye, guys. Bye. And everybody listening, our I don't know what's happening, but our intro music is not working here today. So everybody have a great weekend. We will drop this and we will catch you guys next week. John, catch you later. Bye, guys.